when people don't invest in themselves, it's because they really think, oh, I know what my problem is. I eat too much sugar. No, I'm not going to pay anybody thousands of dollars to help me, even though I've been a sugar addict and can't get over this addiction for 10 years now. But I know what my problem is, so I don't need to hire anybody. I could just read a book about sugar. I could just watch a documentary about how bad sugar is. And that helps you for what? A solid 2 weeks? Why? Because you're the same person with new information. You're the same person with new information. I need y'all to understand the value in coaching. Stop not investing in yourselves because you think you're only paying for information. So let's get into the one misunderstanding that's keeping you from investing in yourself.
Optimal health is not a privilege, it's a right. However, unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of health challenges today can be attributed to lifestyle. This includes our physical activity, the quality of our relationships, stress, purpose and fulfillment, and of course, our diet. But what if there was an alternative? What if we could prevent and combat these health challenges with lifestyle changes before pills and procedures? You are listening to the Plant Protocol podcast with yours truly, plant-based health and business coach, and now the forever voice in your head, Lisa A. Smith. It's time to come get this health.
Let's get into the one misunderstanding that's keeping you from investing in a coach. Let's get into the one misunderstanding that's keeping you from investing in yourself. Good morning. It is Monday. And I am so happy to be here with you guys this morning. I want to start off with, first of all, I hate when people take too long to start content, but I just got to say, before we even jump into it, I want to just say thank you to y'all on Instagram, because I realized last week that I officially have regular viewers. So please excuse the delay in this morning's content. But I just realized last week that I got regular viewers, and I just want to say thank y'all. Like, I've noticed some of the same names coming back every Monday morning, and I'm like, finally. So for anybody who needs motivation to be consistent and to keep going when nobody's watching, when nobody's listening, when you're not getting that engagement, I'm here to tell you, keep going, stay consistent, keep showing up. People will notice. Okay. So thank you, Instagram. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you to those of you who keep coming back. I love it here. I love it here. Okay. So let's get into today's content. So I want to start off by defining two terms for you this morning that is really going to lay the foundation for our conversation today. Today's topic is the major misconception, the major misunderstanding that's stopping you, that's keeping you from investing in yourself. And before I can tell you what that major misconception is, I have to define two terms for you. And the first term I have to define for you is teaching. I need you to understand and know what teaching is, okay, in order for you to keep up with today's conversation. So teaching is simply the transference of information. So that is the first thing I want you to understand, is that teaching is just the transference of information. So what that means is that I know something about a subject matter. So I know a lot about nutrition science. I really do. I've been teaching it for years, okay? So I know a lot about nutrition science. I used to be a personal trainer. I know a lot about exercise science. So if I wanted to teach those subjects, I feel qualified to do so because I know a lot about those subjects. So the first definition that you need to understand for today's conversation is, what is teaching? Teaching means I know something about a subject matter and I've mastered it to the point where I can break it down in language that you can understand and comprehend, and I can tell it to you. And I can test you on what I just taught you, and you will prove that you know what I just told you, okay? Teaching is the transference of information. So that is the very first definition I need you to know for today's conversation to go well. The second definition, the second word that I need to define for you is coaching. What is coaching? Coaching is helping somebody to work through the resistance they feel when it's time to apply what you taught them. Now, it's important to note that teaching and coaching are not the same. Teaching and coaching are not the same. One of the mistakes that people make when they either want to become a coach, so career, or when they want to hire a coach, is they believe that they're hiring someone to teach them new information. Now, in some instances, that is true. Your coach will also be a teacher. I'm a coach. I own a coaching company, and I'm a coach and I'm a teacher. There is a very clear line of demarcation between the two. Coaching is not teaching and teaching is not coaching. So for you to understand what I'm about to share with you today, the major misunderstanding and misconception that people have that stops them from investing in themselves, that stops them from hiring a coach, is that I need you to understand that there's a difference between teaching and coaching, okay? Because a lot of times when people think they're shopping for a coach, they think they're just shopping for a teacher. This is what they're saying to themselves. I need someone to show me and tell me something I don't already know. I need them to teach me something. Teaching, again, is the transference of information. So I have mastery around a subject matter. And as a teacher, I am going to transfer that information to someone else. There's a difference between teaching and coaching. So if you got it, say got it. Because when I tell you why you're not investing in yourself or why you think you get real close to investing in yourself for coaching, then you pull back. This is going to be why. I'm about to tell you why you do that. I'm going to tell you why people do that. Okay. So make sure you understand that teaching is not coaching and coaching is not teaching. Coaching is helping somebody work through the resistance they feel when it's time to apply what you taught them. If I wanted to simplify these two definitions, I would say teaching is all about answering questions. What is this? How does it work? Where does it come from? Explain this mechanism to me. Teaching is all about answering questions, whereas coaching is all about asking them. Come on now. Okay. So teaching is all about answering questions. Coaching is all about asking questions so we can arrive at an answer together. So now that you guys understand that there is a fundamental difference between teaching and coaching, let's get into the number one misconception people have that's preventing them from investing in a coach, that's preventing them from investing in themselves and making them think that DIY, do it yourself, is a safer and a better approach. People unwisely believe, right, that when it's time to hire a coach at the last minute, people say, never mind. Changed my mind. You know what? I can just do this myself. People believe that DIY is better, or let's just keep it real this morning, y'all. People believe that DIY is less expensive. So let's just talk about money, right? The thing that prevents us a lot of times from investing in ourselves and from hiring a coach is because we think we don't see the value in spending that amount of money. So we think it's less expensive to do it ourselves. Let me tell you why it's not. DIY is not less expensive. It's actually way more expensive than hiring a coach because time is more valuable than money. Money is an unlimited resource. If you have a lack mindset, you won't know that. But money is an unlimited resource. Time, on the other hand, is a limited resource. So when you hire a coach and when you hire a great coach that is just as good of a coach as they are a teacher, then you save yourself a ton of time, right? Because time is a limited resource. And so, but people think I can just do it myself and I'll save this money. And that way, I won't have to incur the cost of hiring a coach. Okay. So if time is a limited resource, money is an unlimited resource, and teaching and coaching are not the same, here's what we need to understand. The misconception that's stopping you from investing in yourself is that you believe when you hire a coach that you're only paying for strategy. You don't see the value in spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on a great coach because you believe that when you hire a coach, you're only paying for strategy. And so what happens is people hear a coach's price and they say, whoa, they get a little sticker shock, they get taken aback, if you will, right? Their edges get snatched. They're like, I wasn't expecting that, right? And the reason you get sticker shock when you hear a great coach's price is because you believe you're only paying for strategy. And so if the number scares you, you're like, whoa, I wouldn't expect to pay $20,000. I wouldn't expect to pay $10,000. I wouldn't expect to pay $5,000. Like if the number scares you, is because you believe, follow me, y'all. I need y'all to follow me. If the number scares you when it's time to invest in yourself, hiring a coach is because you believe you're only paying for strategy. And the reason you don't invest, the reason you don't move forward is because you hear 5K, 10K, 20K for a strategy. You can just DIY it. Like, I rather invest time on YouTube or free content or buying a book or watching some experts 90-second reels and picking little nuggets up where I can and piecemealing them together. And I can get the strategy that way because you think teaching and coaching are the same. So when you get sticker shock from when it's time to invest in yourself, it's because you believe you're paying for teaching. My. You've never been more wrong. You've never been more wrong. You are not paying for teaching, you paying for coaching. So like, you hear the language, you're like, I'm going to see how much it is to hire her as a coach. I'm going to see how much it is to hire him as a coach. I'm going to invest in coaching. Like, you hear the word, right? So your IQ is not low. Like, you hear the word and but you don't understand the definition of the word. Because if you believe coaching is just teaching, then absolutely you should get sticker shock. If you think you're just paying for strategy, absolutely thousands of dollars will sound insane to you. But someone who understands that there's a difference between teaching and coaching understands the value of investing in themselves. They are not the same. So when people get sticker shock, they're like, I'm just going to try and do this thing on my own, right? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to try and start it off on my own. I'm going to try and get going on my own, and I'm going to see where that takes me. And I think I can do it, right? But let me explain something to you. Let me explain what you get when you get a coach and not just a teacher. And let me explain to you what you should be buying if you're only interested in the strategy. There is somewhere you can just pay for strategy, right? And you don't have to incur the costs, typically hundreds or thousands of dollars that comes with coaching. All right. So if you're a person who's only cares about the strategy, and you can definitely get that for a much lower price point. But if you actually want coaching and you actually understand there's a difference between teaching and coaching, I need to set your expectations that that's going to cost you more than just paying for the strategy. So I want to make sure I set expectations today, because a lot of you are delaying your progress and delaying your success by thinking you can DIY it. If you're one of those people who have historically believed that you can just DIY everything, like every time you hear the price of something, you like, nope, I'll do this myself. That dress is how much? I'll make my own dress. I'm just going to buy some needle and thread. That event is how much? No. We got food at the house. You know what I'm saying? That coach is how much? No. I'll just go follow such and such YouTube channel. Like, you trying to DIY everything. You're making your own clothes. You're right. You're growing a garden at house. They want how much? No. I just grow my own apples, right? Like, everything is DIY when somebody hear a price point. Like, bro, everything cannot be free in life. It is when you understand the value of things that then you understand the cost of things. You have to understand the value in order to understand the cost. So let me explain something to you guys, okay? The time that it takes for you. Remember, I said time is a limited resource and money is an unlimited resource. You have to have an abundance mindset to know that and to understand that, right? So when you hire a great coach, they're going to be just as good at coaching as they are at teaching. So you're going to get the strategy, but then you're also going to get the coaching that needs to accompany the strategy, right? Here's why DIY is more expensive than paying for a coach. Even when a coach costs thousands of dollars, DIY is still more expensive because the time it takes for you to become bold enough to do all that's required is much longer than the time it takes to be coached. So the time it takes for you to become the person that can execute the strategy takes way longer than the time it would take if you were coached through the process. So when I say become bold enough to execute the strategy, I'm talking about character traits. Now, this is coming from a coach. I've been coaching for a long time, 9 years. I mean, it's not a lifetime, but that's a long time to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of experiences and receipts, right? I've been coaching for a long, long time. And so here's what I need you guys to understand. The time it takes that for you to become the person who can execute the strategy is way longer than the time it takes for you to understand the strategy. So when I say the time it takes for you to become the person, I'm talking about very specific character traits. Listen to me closely. Some of these are going to relate to you guys. I'm talking about courage. I'm talking about esteem. I'm talking about confidence. I'm talking about self-worth. I'm talking about abundance. I'm talking about mindset. I'm talking about discipline. I'm talking about self-prioritization, meaning you actually see yourself as an important enough to work on yourself and work on the things you want. You know how many people struggle with that? They can make time for everybody else, their kids, their spouse, their job, volunteering at the church, but they can't consistently make time for themselves. The time it takes for you to become the person that self-prioritizes, the time it takes for you to become the person who has confidence, who has courage, who has high self-esteem, who has an abundance mindset, it's way longer than the time it takes for you to learn a strategy. So a great coach helps you become the person you need to become in order to execute the strategy. So when you hear a coach's price point and you run in the opposite direction and say, no, I'll just do it myself. I'll just figure it out myself. I'll figure out how to start this business myself. I'll figure out how to adopt a plant-based diet myself. I'll just figure it out. I'll figure out how to get financial freedom myself. I'll figure out real estate myself. Whatever coach you recently told no because their price was too high, it's because you really believed, you unknowingly, your misconception was you were only about to pay them to teach you something. If they are a great coach, they have two things. They have two skill sets in their toolbox. One is teaching. Yes, that's the subject matter. That's the information that you're interested in. The second is coaching. And that is they have mastered the art of helping you embody who you need to be in order to do what they just taught you. A lot of y'all are sugar addicts, right? Let me just drive down y'all street for a second. Let me just get in y'all business. A lot of y'all are sugar addicts, right? So it's not because you don't understand how bad refined sugar is. Now, you might not understand the extent to which sugar is dangerous, right? So can I technically teach you something about sugar you didn't know? Yeah, I could. You're gonna be like, oh, I didn't know it did that to your brain. Like I know it caused weight gain and I know it increased my chances of diabetes and I know that it potentially feeds cancer cells. You might know a little bit about sugar. You know enough to know it's bad, but the truth of the matter is you're still eating it. And so if you were to hire a nutrition coach or a health coach, for example, you don't necessarily need that coach to teach you more science about sugar. It ain't the information that you need. You need the coach to help you become the disciplined person who will stop self-sabotaging and will stop eating sugar despite knowing how bad it is. Do you hear the difference? A coach, there's a difference between me sitting here. Like every session, I'm not going to spend the whole session if I'm your health coach, breaking down to you the mechanisms for which sugar destroys you from the inside out. That's not going to stop you late night in the midnight hour running to the cookies. Coaching and teaching are not the same. Me teaching you about how bad sugar is not me changing your behavior. Me changing your behavior is me helping you to dissect your self-sabotaging behavior so that you can make a different decision. The thing you knew coming into this coaching relationship how bad sugar was. That's why you hired me, because you're like, I know this is bad for me, but I can't stop myself from eating it. Help me. You don't need teaching. You need coaching. And when people don't invest in themselves, it's because they really think, oh, I know what my problem is. I eat too much sugar. No, I'm not going to pay anybody thousands of dollars to help me, even though I've been a sugar addict and can't get over this addiction for 10 years now. But I know what my problem is, so I don't need to hire anybody. I could just read a book about sugar. I could just watch a documentary about how bad sugar is. And that helps you for what? A solid 2 weeks? Why? Because you're the same person with new information. You're the same person with new information. You need somebody to help you become a different person. You need y'all to understand the value in coaching. Stop not investing in yourselves because you think you're only paying for information. Now, I told you guys I was going to tell you if you are only interested in paying for information, here's how you do it. Okay? Here's how you do it. Let me tell you, here's how you get, let's say you're like, Lisa, I ain't trying to spend $1,000 on coaching. I just want the strategy and I want to just see if I can do it myself, right? I just want to see if I can do it myself. And I don't want coaching. I just want the strategy. If you're one of those people who really believe all you need is the strategy to do what you need to do and you don't need anything else, let me tell you what you should be investing in, okay? The thing you should be investing in, if you only want strategy and you're not, and in other words, you only want teaching and you're not interested in coaching, is a digital course. A digital course. If you only want teaching and you're not interested in coaching, stop shopping around coaches. Stop going to our websites. Stop filling out our applications. Stop booking calls with us. If you only want the information, there's a way to get it at a much lower price point, and it is called digital courses. Digital courses are DIY courses that has all the information that you want to learn packaged on some type of platform. You're going to watch videos, you're going to listen to audios, you're going to read content, and they've packaged the information for you. A digital course, okay? A digital course is way less expensive, and it doesn't have a human or community attached to it. So if you're only interested in teaching, if you're only interested in learning the information and you don't want to pay the price point that a really good coach charges, and you don't want to have to go through all the personal development work, like do all the inner work, right? And you just want the strategy, buy a digital course. A digital course you can get for $99, $197, $297. Okay. Now you come over here. We don't have digital courses. I don't have a digital course for you. Matter of fact, I'm lying. I have a mini course about plant-based lifestyle. I have singular one-off master classes, and they're all bundled in our learning platform called the Black Health Academy. And I don't charge for it at all. I give our digital teachings away for free because they don't come with a human. They don't come with a community. But if you're hiring me as your coach, you're going to get the coach, me, or my team, and you're going to get the community. You guys have to understand the value in that. You think you're just hiring a strategy. And so when you hear the price point, you're going all haywire and crazy. Like, I just want the information. Oh, I'll give you the information for free. You want to know why? Because I've become wise enough over the years to know that the information won't change your outcomes. Now, I'm not talking to everybody, but I'm talking about 90% of y'all. There's 10% of y'all that really only need the information and will go crazy with it. It's about 10% of y'all who are good enough internally and personally where you will go crazy with just the information. But the other 90% of y'all, I'm willing to give you the information for free. And you'd want to know, I tested this out. I've been doing free master classes every month for years, giving away the information for free. I don't know if y'all ever been in one of my master classes, but in my master classes, I break down the strategy. Like, I don't hold nothing. I'm not one of those people who do like free master classes, but like keep part of the process to myself. Like, I've tested this out. Like, I remember I did a business master class on how to specialize. Like, if you want to start a coaching business, I did a specialization workshop. It wasn't even a master class. It was a workshop. I was like, come to my workshop. I'm going to teach you how to select a niche, how to select a specialization for your coaching business. And when I teach those workshops, when I teach my master classes, y'all, I don't leave anything on the table. I don't withhold information because you got to get the rest if you pay for me. No. You want to know why I don't? Because I'm a coach before I'm a teacher. Because I know I can give 90% of y'all the exact strategy and you still won't execute. You want to know why? Because you have esteem issues, because you have confidence issues, because you have self-worth issues, because you have self-prioritization challenges, right? Because you have a lack mindset. So I will tell you how much you should be charging based on what you're selling, and you still won't go do it because you don't think nobody got it. And you think everybody broke. And you say, I just want to help people. And charging means I'm not helping people. Like, I know your mindset is so messed up that I will give you the strategy. I will break down my blueprint for you for getting a result, and you still won't execute it. Not because I don't believe in you, but I hear you when you talk. I hear the type of questions you ask me. I hear when I ask you, if you've had this goal or this passion in your heart for years, why haven't you done it in the last 5 years? And when you tell me why, I already know what it is. When you tell me how scared you are to see yourself on camera, when you tell me how scared you are to hear your own voice, I know for a fact, it don't matter how much I teach you. Until I coach you, you're not going to get far. So I promise you, when you're paying thousands of dollars, you're not paying for teaching. You can come learn from me for free. I will teach you for free. That's how sweet I am. I will teach you for free because I already know what you really need is the personal development work to get the result. I already know. right? And I know this not because I don't believe in you, not because, it's because I've been doing this for so many years. I've seen the same people over and over and just different names and slightly different faces, but y'all the same person. I hate my own voice. I can't watch myself online. Nobody's looking. Everybody's going to hate me. I'm going to fail publicly. I'm not good enough. I already know. You need coaching, not teaching. But then when you try and work with me, you're like, you hear the price point and you're like, oh, I'll just do this myself. Oh, so you're telling me you can identify your own blind spots and work through them? Go off though. Okay. Yep. Like even the best surgeon can't do surgery on themselves. Even the best braider, y'all know I keep me a protective style because who about to be dealing with this natural afro all the time, right? Even the best braider don't braid their own hair as good as they braid somebody else's hair. Let me bring it to us. I'm talking about the best surgeon. I heard of surgeons. I don't even know one. Let me talk about who I know. Even the best nail techs. Shout out to mine. What up, Nidra? She still don't even do her nails as good as she does somebody else's. So I don't care how sweet you are. You still need help seeing your own blind spot so you can become the person you need to be to execute on the strategy that you just invested in. I promise you. But for the 10% of y'all that are sweet enough to get the strategy and go kill it, just buy a digital course. But for the other 90% of y'all, stop not investing in yourselves. Stop not investing in coaching because you think you're just paying for a strategy. If you're hiring a really good coach, they don't just have strategy. They're going to teach you how to become who you need to be. So let's wrap up. This is what I need y'all to understand.
Hey, podcast listeners. It is your favorite plant-based health and business coach, Lisa A. Smith, here to tell you all about our next masterclass. So last month in September, we officially kicked off the run-up to our next 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge. And I went deep about how to combat chronic stress. Listen, if you missed that masterclass, you missed an absolute treat. One attendee said, it was all so good. So many takeaways and tools you can apply immediately. You've been giving away gems for free. Thank you. And then another attendee said, thank you so much. This was amazing, on point, and I resonated with all of it. I'm going to work on my exit strategy and then write down what beliefs are preventing me from taking action. Listen, if you aren't in my masterclasses, what are you doing with your health life? Okay. So I'm here to tell you about the next one so you don't make the same mistake twice. I am teaching another masterclass coming up on Wednesday, October 23rd, 6:30 p.m. EST, and you need to be in the room because this one is going to be all about nutrition and mindset. So I opened up a Q&A in our private Facebook group for the challenge, and I asked you guys, what do you want to learn about? And you guys replied with all of your questions. So on Wednesday, October 23rd, I'm going to be doing a live Q&A answering any and all of your questions about what to expect for our next 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge, how you should be moving so that you can be successful. Some of the questions that have been submitted are things like, how do I cook without oil? How do I get my protein if I'm not eating meat? And here's one of my favorite ones. Someone says, let's talk about self-sabotage. Yes, you guys are asking all the right questions and I'm bringing all of the answers. So listen, this masterclass is complimentary. All you have to do to get in the Zoom room is make sure you're registered for our 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge. If you're already registered, you don't have to do anything. You'll automatically receive the Zoom link. If not, click the link in the show notes. Get registered for our 30-day vegan SOS free challenge, and you will get the invitation to our next masterclass coming up live with me. It is not a recording. It is really me in the room teaching and acting up. So you will be invited to that masterclass on October 23rd with our live Q&A where I'm going to be answering all of your questions about nutrition, exercise, lifestyle, and things like self-sabotage and mindset. So make sure you click the link in the show notes, get registered for the challenge, and I will see you soon.
So for those of you who are like DIY junkies, you don't want to spend money on nothing. You never invest in yourself. You like, I'll just figure it out on my own. I'll figure everything out on my own, right? I want you to understand the most expensive part of DIY. When you have a goal, when you have a goal, like a big goal, like, Lisa, I want to start this business. I want to start this nonprofit. I want to change my health. I want to change my relationship with whatever. like I want to get better, when you have a big goal, the most expensive part of DIY is your low level of self-awareness and EQ. The most expensive part of doing something yourself is your low level, your low self-awareness and your low emotional intelligence. Okay, that is the most expensive part of DIY. So when you DIY something, you can get the strategy, but when you aren't the person yet who can execute the strategy because you haven't healed from something, you're still a people pleaser, you got a lack mindset, whatever that personal development work that hasn't been done, trying to self-coach yourself through that is going to be challenging. And that becomes the most expensive part of DIY. Like, okay, I just went on YouTube and watched Lisa's video. And she said, if I want to be a great coach, that I got to start creating content online so people can start trusting me. But then what happens? Those insecurities bubble up and you're like, but I hate the way I look, but I hate the way I sound. I don't sound articulate enough. I don't sound smart enough. I stutter, I stammer, you know what I mean? And then now the insecurities bubble up. Now you done got the strategy. Lisa done told you, if you want to be a great coach, you got to create fire content online to get people to trust you and like you. Okay. But I don't watch her video. I done heard her say that. I heard her say it 9 times. I done heard her say it 10 times. I done heard her say it 12 times. But now, because I'm DIYing it, I can't do it. And now what happens? I look up a year later, I'm still at my 9 to 5 because Lisa told me a year ago to go create content online, but I was too insecure to do it. And because I was DIYing it, I didn't have a coach. So now the most expensive part of DIY is not just lack of self-awareness and a lack of EQ. It is now delayed obedience. The most expensive part of DIY is disobedience, because you delay the result because of the personal development work that you need to be coached through. In my business accelerator, right? So you guys know I own a coaching company. We do health coaching, we do business coaching. And in my mastermind, with my mastermind clients, we do personal development coaching, right? In my business accelerator, when I'm helping people build out their coaching businesses, so I help people build out curriculum-based coaching businesses. So I help people build curriculum. I really believe that a great coaching program has a curriculum, and you're not just relying on the coach every week or every 2 weeks to get the result, but there's a curriculum or process that they have you follow. So when people work with me to become a coach, I help them to build out curriculum-based coaching programs, okay? And here's one of the most common questions they ask me. One of the most common questions people ask me when they're building out their program is, how long should it be? Because historically, when people DIY, they just make up a length. Like, I'm going to make a 6-week program. I'm going to make an 8-week program. I'm going to make a 12-week program. And there's no rhyme or reason behind it. I'd be like, why is your program 8 weeks? I just figured that was the time that people would do it. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, why is your program 12 weeks? Because I ain't got nothing else to teach after 12 weeks, right? So one of the most common questions my aspiring coaches and my healthcare providers who are incorporating a curriculum-based program into their practice, they ask me is, how long should my program be? And without fail, every time I tell them the same thing that I'm going to tell you. The length of your program should not be based on how much information you need to give to the person, i.e., how much you need to teach them. The length of your program should be based on how long it takes them to embody the information, i.e., how long does it take them to become the person they need to be to get the result. So my business accelerator is not a year because it takes somebody a year to get through our curriculum. We've had people get through our curriculum in 9 months. So our curriculum is not, my program, is not a year because it takes a year to get through the curriculum. It doesn't take a year for me to teach you my strategy for building a successful coaching company. It takes a minimum of a year for you to have the confidence to do what I just taught you. It takes a minimum of a year for you to see the value in the self and have the self-worth to charge the amount that you should be charging. It takes a minimum of a year for you to start finally working through and healing from your insecurities. And you can ask any one of my coaches in our business accelerator. Every time they get to the end of our certification, the thing they put on the form when it's time for them to get clear, and I ask them, I forget the exact question we ask, but it's something like, what is the biggest lesson or your biggest takeaway from this experience with being in the Plant Protocol Business Accelerator? What is the biggest takeaway? What is the number one thing you learned? Without a doubt, not a single person has put on that form anything about nutrition science, anything about lifestyle science. Like, what was your biggest takeaway? What was the most momentous part of this experience? Nobody has ever written anything on that form about science or about business acumen. Every single person puts personal development. They're like, I didn't know that I had an issue with rejection until I came here. I didn't know I was struggling with a lack mindset until I started working with Lisa in the Business Accelerator. I didn't know that I had so many insecurities about my own voice and my own face. Like every single, to this day, it might change, but I've created this certification in 2021. In 3 years, every single person, when they leave our community, they say the biggest, most impactful part of this experience was who I needed to become to start my own business, who I needed to become to enhance my practice as a healthcare provider. It is all about confidence. It is all about self-esteem. It's all about discipline. I didn't know I had to work on my own consistency. I had to work on my own ego. We've heard comments about ego. Nobody has ever mentioned the stuff we taught them. They always mention about who they had to become. This is the value in a coaching program. This is why you have to understand the difference between teaching and coaching. Now, get me wrong. Our strategy is fire because all I do is teach them what I did, right? So we have the strategy for you. But if you think the strategy is the only thing you need to pay for when you're hiring a coach, you're dead wrong. And that is the number one misconception that has stopped you from investing in yourself, is that you think you're paying for just strategy. And so you can't see the value in a multi-$100, multi-$1,000 price point because you're like, I could just DIY this. I could just learn this on YouTube. I can just learn this on somebody's free mini course. I can just learn this in a book. No, you can't. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. And so that is the thing I want you guys to understand and that I want you to take away. Here's the final takeaway too, guys. When it comes to investing in yourselves, I want you to understand that there is no world in which everything will always be free. There is no world in which everything will always be free. It will not exist ever. There is no world. And so some of you need to work on your abundance versus lack mindset, and like letting money or spending money scare you is really dangerous, because one of the most invaluable lessons I've ever learned about money was from a little mini course, actually, that I was taking on a Commune app. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Commune app, but it's an app that I used to use for meditation, right? And they would have all these little courses on there. And so they had this one course about money on there, and I listened to it because why not, right? And she said something that was so provocative to me. She said, money doesn't belong to any of us. She said, I don't own money. You don't own money. Money doesn't belong to any of us. Money is literally a currency that flows between us, right? Money has a current, like the waves in the ocean, okay? Money is a currency that flows between us. You give it to me, I give it to somebody else. They give it to somebody. It just flows between us. And when we have a lack mindset, we disrupt the flow. We disrupt the current of money. So I live a life that I desire, because what I'm not about to do is live somewhere I don't want to live. What I'm not about to do is do something I don't want to do because I'm so over-consumed with the cost of everything. I'm not encouraging you not to be a wise spinner. You still need to be a good steward over what you have. But some of us are so doggone afraid of investing in ourselves and so doggone afraid of spending money, or I didn't want to pay that much. Well, do you know what you're getting for it, right? Like, you don't even have a number in my what. And then I asked people, well, how much were you thinking this was going to cost? I don't know. What? So how you ain't want to pay that much, but you ain't had no idea how much it was going to cost. Like, what are you saying? Right. And so, but we need to understand that money is a currency that flows between us. Right. And you have to understand the difference between spending and investing. And when you are hiring a great coach who is just as good of a teacher as they are a coach, you're not just paying for strategy, but you're paying to become the person who can execute the strategy. And just understand that nothing in the world is going to always be free. Now, like, there's no world in which everything will always be free. And you cannot DIY your dreams. Like, your dreams are going to require an investment. Your dreams are going to require an investment. And it's not cheaper to do it on your own. It's not cheaper to do it on your own. I know we like to think that way, but the most expensive cost that comes with DIY, doing it yourself, is disobedience. it's delayed obedience because you spend so much time being insecure and not confident or not having courage or afraid to pull the trigger on things that you waste precious time. And time is not an unlimited resource. Time is a limited resource for every single one of us. And if we don't understand that, then we will think we can just move through life trying to do things on our own instead of expediting the process so you can be obedient to God as quickly as possible. Okay, so this is what's happening. We are running full speed ahead into our next 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge, okay? The challenge, this is how sweet we are because we wake up with a spirit of excellence. The challenge don't even start to January 1st, 2025. And we are already prepping for the challenge. So we got about, like 420 people registered so far. And I'm doing a free masterclass every month from now through the start of the challenge. So we're in full prep mode. So lisaangelsmith.com/challenge. You get registered for our next 30-day vegan challenge. It's a free challenge. We will have VIP tickets though, because some of y'all are like me and you like the front row and you like extra perks. So we will have a VIP ticket. However, it's not mandatory. So you can take our challenge for free. Hundreds of people do. They did last time. And you can get into these complimentary masterclasses. So this month in October, it is going to be a live plant-based Q&A. So we have a Facebook group that goes with the challenge. And I asked people in the Facebook group, like, what questions do y'all have about being plant-based, about being SOS, salt, oil, and sugar-free? They listed a lot of questions. So I'm going to answer them in October. So we're going to do a live Q&A with me and my team about living a whole food plant-based lifestyle for optimal health. We're going to answer those questions in our October masterclass. And then I'm not sure what the subject of our November masterclass is going to be. So September, chronic stress. And then October is going to be more like the nutrition and lifestyle science stuff. So we're going to dig deep into the science. So make sure you are registered for the challenge. It only takes 2 seconds. Name and email and join 420 other people who are ready to come get this health. I love y'all. Make sure you get your rest too. Don't lay your edges down first because I'm going to snatch them right back up. So like, don't do your hair before you come to my master classes. Like, make sure you already pray and so you can stay out of your feelings because I'm always talking junk. So just be ready. Like if you ain't ready for none of that realness, don't even come. Just watch the replay. Okay. All right. That's it, y'all. I'll be back here next Monday with another topic. Until then, you guys have a phenomenal day. Bye, y'all.
You tuned in today because, like me, you refuse to let your good become the enemy of your great. You're not settling for good health when optimal is well within reach. If you're ready to go from good to great, visit lisaangelsmith.com to learn more about our plant-based health coaching program, Farm to Table, and our plant-based business accelerator and coaching certification. But before you go, if you enjoyed what you heard today, please consider rating and reviewing this podcast. Until next time, remember, radical obedience is still undefeated. Stay obedient.